Welcome to the Banana Slam Jamma podcast, episode 69. Today's guest is going to be Monkey with the rock climbing gear. Hello, Monkey. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great, Jenkins. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. I don't spend enough time with you guys, so here I am doing a podcast with you.
Hooray!
Don't see you guys every day, basically. All right, Brian, ask me some questions. Let's go.
Dude, you're literally hosting it. Why am I asking you questions?
No, dude, I'm not the host, man. I'm in the middle. You're on the left. That's the power
true.
slot.
That's true. The left is the power slot.
Okay, we'll start it off then. Who's the power slot in a Dota lobby? Is it the top, middle, bottom? Who's is it power bottoms?
Yeah, I think people think it's the top, but it's usually like the top is the guy that's the I don't know, like that everybody's trying to appease on the Dota team.
Okay.
And like in reality, that guy's not the powerful one. That guy's like the like loose cannon. I think the bottom one is the power slot because nobody really wants that, and so the most like mature person will take the bottom one. In fact, sometimes they might even demand it from somebody else. Very emotionally mature.
This is just a very hypothetical situation that you're referring
Yes,
to right now.
of course. Obviously.
Yes, but I have to
Naturally.
agree. The person that goes into the bottom slot is probably like the coolest guy on the team, most likely best looking, maybe
Sexiest.
does a lot
Probably
of push-ups.
lifts the most.
Yeah, something like
Yeah.
that. So, Monkey, did you get a haircut, buddy?
Yeah, I did. Like 2 days ago, 3 days ago, something like
Hell
that.
yeah.
Yeah.
What's motivated you to go get a haircut?
My hair was getting long, and it was
God,
annoying.
that makes sense.
So.
That makes a lot of sense.
That really does, actually.
That's a really good question, Brian, too. Holy shit. We're getting deep.
I mean, that's what this podcast is all about, is really getting down to the nitty-gritty of what makes us, you know?
Yeah, right.
So usually we talk about Dota and stuff, but I've been hearing, actually we very rarely talk about Dota. I've been hearing about your...
That's what you said last time, bro. We didn't talk about Dota at all.
Yeah, your expedition for a castle. I haven't heard an update, Jenkins. If people don't know, he's looking to buy a castle. Is there any update on this journey?
Well, people are asking where the goal is because I did remove it from the stream overlay. There was one time that Raid Shadow Legends was sponsoring me, and they said, "Hey, get this shit off the fucking screen. You're making us look like a laughing stock. You're not going to be able to afford a castle. You're not going to get 400,000 subs. You're 0.1% of the way there." And I said, okay, because I'm a cuck. And then I've just been too lazy to add it back, but it's still, the goal is still there. If you look up castle prices, they're actually about the same as pre-COVID. And I don't know where you guys live. I do actually know where you guys live, but I would say that if I was on another podcast to get into what I'm about to say next, just, for the English to, flow through. But it doesn't make any sense in this case because I actually do know you guys quite well. So I know that this is rhetorical. What the was I saying again? Yes, property prices very expensive, very expensive. No, not for a castle actually. So where I live, the houses are as much as in Los Angeles. The average house price is as much as in L.A. in Canada.
That's pretty bad.
Who gives a shit about Canada? It's cold here 6 months of the year. And the houses, and I'm supposed to believe that the houses are as expensive as a city that has like the third highest GDP in the world, other than like Singapore, Dubai, I don't know, maybe some other like big cities. Fucking ridiculous. That's not right. Property prices. So castles are actually pretty cheap compared to that. Everybody thought my castle was a joke 2 years ago. Everybody thought it was a joke. Jenkins, castles are expensive to upkeep. You know what's expensive to upkeep now? A house that's $1 million. Anyway, I don't remember what you asked, but property prices, man.
That's a good point. Great rant.
Thank you.
I just got a donation for $100 that says, "Give it to Monkey. I don't know how. Thank you, reported."
That's a good donation. That was a really nice donation.
I don't have alerts on there. I don't have alerts on here, but I guess I'm taking monkeys out to dinner at some point. Then that's the $100 I'm taking monkeys out to dinner with.
$100 for you. That'll be the fucking appetizer, dude.
Nah,
your
that'll
fancy,
be the
fancy
drinks.
Your fancy New York dinners. I had to explain to my mom. I was like, yeah, I got this friend Brian, and he told me I've never eaten before, and she's like, that doesn't make any sense. Is he living in an institution? And I said, no, he should for all the things that he's done, but he's not. And he told me that I haven't eaten before because the restaurants I've gone to haven't been 5-star New York friggin' restaurants. Mr. Fancy Pants over there spending big money. So what? I get pizza every night. You got a problem with that? That's real food.
I literally zoned Jenkins out. I don't know what he's ranting to you.
Dude, this is Arkosh all over again, bro. Nobody listens to me. I speak the truth, man.
I mean, if I can't I can't function as a human being if I listen to every word that Jenkins says. I've only got so many brain cells to lose over the course of my lifetime.
I realized I was tuning him out, and then I started paying attention again. And he's just like, "Yeah, I don't go to 5-star restaurants, Brian."
Yeah, it was too late by that point. I was miles ahead of you, dude. It was too late. Dude, this is why communication on Arkosh never works. Nobody knows what I'm talking about, you know?
You're talking about the content team.
Yeah, exactly.
Sundays for Sacrificial Cup.
Exactly. Brian's just avoiding the question of his 5-star restaurant habit. I
don't have a habit. I go to these like 3 times a year, maybe. And I did tell Jenkins specifically, I said, I thought I knew what eating was, and then I went to New York and had some amazing food and realized that there's a lot that you're probably missing out there. So
dude, that's the most excited New Yorker thing I've ever heard. That is the most New Yorkian.
I tried to tell Jenkins he should come visit me so that I could eat with him at one of these restaurants.
Whoa, dude! All right, dude. I'm not a beloved pet here. All right, I'm not an animal. You don't get to eat me. I'm not your pet rat from 5th grade, Brian.
Well,
pet rat Binky.
Brian's secret is out now. He wants to eat Jenkins.
It was his sister's rat, actually. It was his sister's rat. She had no idea where it had gone until the skeleton turned up. Tried to shove it down the drain. He tried to shove it down the drain. Yeah.
Of course.
His waffle stomping practice was really paying off.
How else are you supposed to dispose of a rat's skeleton? Now, the thing is that people are probably, if you guys haven't watched
that's a good quote.
If you guys haven't watched a good amount of Jenkins or myself talking to Jenkins, you're probably wondering why he's doing this. And I think the best description I want to give is going back to the We Play Major back last summer. And I want to preface by saying Jenkins' entire life is a bit. Okay, guys, he's doing a impromptu skit at all times, and that's what I mean by a bit. So we were at this major, and there was this one day where we're all touring. The first day we got there, we're touring what our workplace is gonna look like, the studio and all that kind of stuff. And there's just a very small break room. There's a tiny ass break room, and in the break room there's a loaf of bread. And Jenkins just took it upon himself to pick up the loaf of bread and just randomly hand it to people. And it was just, it's what do you do? What do you do when somebody hands you a loaf of bread? And then Jenkins realized, I guess pretty quickly, that people have no idea what to do when you give them a loaf of bread.
Especially at a studio, a big studio. Nobody expects you to be walking around with a loaf of bread. So if you hand it to them, there's just so much visible confusion on their face that they just grab it before they even realize what's happened. And then they're just standing there with a loaf of bread. Everybody looks at them like, why the f does this idiot have a loaf of bread? Dude, I got so many people.
He just did that.
I love so many people. I love bus drivers. I loved so many We Play employees, dude. So many We Plays. Literally the guy that was running the entire production. I was always getting him with the loaf. And
why would he keep accepting it? Why wouldn't he just say, I don't want
because
your
he'd
bread?
be busy. He'd be busy. Listen, imagine you're sitting there and you're like, oh yeah, like put this $50,000 statue of Juggernaut over there. You'll put the cameras over here. Oh hey, EG, like yeah, well, you know they're doing all this stuff, really important stuff, millions of dollars on the line. And then somebody walks up to you and just like, hey yo, dude, check here, hold this. Like he's doing important stuff. Right. So he's got in his head, important stuff is going to be happening to me right now. This loaf of bread comes in all of a sudden out of the corner. That's an important thing to him. Every time I got him, and he was getting mad to the point that he was loafing me back. So he was getting me not with here's what actually this actually made me uncomfortable. This is what me. He was loafing me. He would hand me a camera and be like, this is like a camera worth like $50,000. One of those like fucking slow-mo cameras, like one of the ones that, you know, like the big fancy ones. And he would hand it to me. I'd be like, dude, don't trust me with this. And he'd just be sitting there laughing. Like, dude, you just got loafed. And it's like, no, dude, it's funny because I'm doing it with a loaf of bread. When you're handing me an actual camera I have to hold and be uncomfortable with, I don't want to drop it, then it is actually fucking serious, dude. I'm not to be trusted with this. It was getting to the point, like, I think Brian, I loafed you on stream, right? Didn't I get you one time on stream? Yeah, I brought everybody out coffee. And then for you, I gave you the loaf of bread.
You did do that, yes.
You were very. I actually do remember that. I remember you did me that.
He was very disappointed. I think I eventually brought you a coffee after that, but the loafing.
I was expecting a hot chocolate. I think.
Oh yes, you were.
And then you brought me a loaf of bread.
Yeah. Yeah.
That it was not the fact that the loaf itself, like I expected it to be important. It was that I literally expected it to be something else, Jenkins.
Dude, okay, there's two people that actually fucked with me when I loafed them. So I loafed Chris Luck. Actually, I loafed all of Beast Coast. I walked up and I was like, hey guys, like something really fucking important. And they're like, oh, you know, this guy's like from production or something. So he's probably got something important to tell us. I hand them the loaf of bread. They look really confused for like 1 second. And then they just open it up and start eating it. It's like, no, you're supposed to be confused. You don't just eat it. They're eating like soup or something because they start dipping. And it's like, oh my God, they think I just actually handed them like a dip or something to dip in their soup. They're just appreciative. So I go and I grab the loaf back, and apparently Chris Luck said to Avo Plus, he's like, he said something in Spanish, and I was like, oh, you know, I don't know how to speak anything other than like idiotic English, so I'll just walk away. And Avo comes up to me later. He's like, dude, you know, he just asked if you were high, right? He's like, where's this guy getting the shrooms? Because I want some. Very illegal in whatever country we were in. Ah, yes, Ukraine. That place. That's rough.
Yeah.
Anyway. That's it, Brian.
Yeah, for TI.
Yeah, but I was talking about the loafing.
Oh. But wait. Was Avo in Ukraine?
No, he wasn't in Ukraine. I must have been loafing people at TI. Wait, no. Let me think. I think Avo was there. Yeah, he was there. He was there as like a stand-in manager, I'm pretty sure, for Beast Coast. I think Washi couldn't make it for that one. I think that's what it was. He wasn't casting that. Like he was like a translator.
Go ahead and salvage this as best you can, Jenkins. Go ahead.
That's actually true. He was there.
Okay.
That's literally true. You just don't remember him being there because you're an asshole.
I actually didn't know Avo at all during that event, so I wouldn't have known, like he didn't introduce himself or anything, so I didn't know who he was.
He's been around forever, dude.
I mean, it's like one of those things where if you don't like watch the streams or whatever, then how are you supposed to know who he is? I do know who Avo is now, guys, because I met him at TI a lot, and he's quite a stand-up gentleman. So, he started as like caster for the SA scene, or like more of like a community member almost, and made his way all the way to TI. So pretty pog story. But I have to interrupt this and say that I have another $20 tip saying, "Give to Jenkins to give to Monkey. Thank you, reported."
Was that from the same guy?
No, it's actually a different guy.
Okay.
It looks like.
All right.
Looks like Jenkins. Next time I see you, I will be handing you $20.
Yeah.
And
it's
I've-
not-
and
now,
I've-
now,
I have
you
to- I have
now
to
you
give it
need
to
to take
monkeys.
Jenkins out to dinner when Jenkins is taking me out to dinner.
Oh, we're gonna have a 3-way dinner.
Yeah,
we'll do a
yeah.
3-way dinner. Yeah, I $20. I can like afford an appetizer there, and you guys can eat like a delicious full meal, and I'll just sit
There
and
you go.
watch you guys eating the full meal. It's like Arkosh Gaming all over again. I just have to watch you guys have a good time from like the pathetic cuck off lane.
There you go.
Oh yes, my core positions. Take all the farm in the world. I'll just get a BKB and push waves. Don't
Are
worry
you
about me.
complaining about how much I've been farming?
Okay, now, dude, listen. It's a bit. Relax. I know you don't. Can we talk about that, Brian?
What would you like me to say, weighing in on this matter, Jenkins?
What's going on with Arkosh Gaming, dude? What's happening there?
Wonderful things, man. I heard they won yesterday.
Yeah, they're winners.
It looked like they just had the opponent outdrafted in game 3. It looked like they
Yeah.
were really cohesive and on the same page for the third
It looked
game.
like one guy was literally ignoring whatever the other guys were saying and not communicating at all.
I don't know who you're talking about because I remember seeing a good tri-lane top, really well played out tri-lane, and then so
Oh
those
my
three
God.
people must have been. And then I also saw the Night Stalker gank with the Leshrac and high five afterwards. So there was clearly good communication going on. So
There
I
really
guess
was. Yeah, that's
it
true.
actually had to
That's
be the
true.
Bat Rider then, is what you're saying.
Yeah, I think the bat was having just a fucking game, dude. That guy sucked. He looked so uncomfortable. Dude, actually, it was so nice looking at monkeys and seeing a guy who's like level 8 to the enemy guy's level 6. That was sick. That was nice. I knew I was getting carried at that point.
So my question here is, I actually wanted to talk about this a little bit. Is Arkosh, when I was scouting out their drafts, because I've heard they've got a pretty experienced drafter, is they ran safe lane Bat Rider against Timbersaw. And it owned, right? And then today I saw Tundra versus OG, and Tundra ran offlane Bat Rider against the Timbersaw in lane. So what question you have to ask yourself is, who came first? The chicken? Who's the chicken and who's the egg here, Jenkins? Was Arkosh the chicken or the egg here? Who copied who?
Right, that's a really fucked up question because the chicken and the egg is a question of which one of those comes first. So even if I answer that, I'm not giving you a proper answer. So
That is
that
true.
comparison makes absolutely no fucking sense. And it's really rude because you're sitting next to monkeys who wouldn't even eat either of those things because he's vegan. So that's really offensive to come out here and say that. And you know, with chickens, I want to eat those because they're friendly pets that people love. And he's vegan. So you're just offending two people at once.
But I'm not vegan, Jenkins. I'm vegetarian.
Whatever, dude.
Yeah,
Who cares?
You're the one who brought it up. You're the
Whatever,
one
dude. Whatever. Hey, my girlfriend's vegetarian.
Oh yeah?
Have you had Beyond Beef?
Yes, I have.
How do you like it?
It, it's like all right. I don't know. Apparently, it like kind of tastes like real meat, but I've never had real meat before, so I wouldn't know.
I don't know. I don't think it does. I think that's a lie, dude. I like here. You know what? I feel like with it just has to be burger shaped. That's the real thing here. Is that I think people just like burger shaped and hot dog shaped things, and making
their
it taste
mouths.
like in their mouths. Yeah, naturally,
Yeah.
meaty, just delicious, juicy. Yeah, and I think the problem is people they're out there trying to make it taste like real meat, but why vegetarians are disgusted by real meat. That's kind of the point. So the reason I like the Beyond Beef is because it doesn't taste like real meat. It's like sweet to me. It like actually has a
Yeah.
flavor rather than like just dead animal corpse. You know, it's nice. I know BSJ. I don't mean to get you erect, BSJ, bringing that sort of thing up, but
There's a reason
really-
why you can't see any further down on my camera.
that's really reasonable. And your hunch. Are you just holding a toenail clipper?
No.
What is that in your right hand? Left hand. Okay, dude. All right. Okay. Oh, that's all right. You've derailed, so you can go ahead and ask your next question, Brian.
Yeah, let me go to my next analogy here.
Okay, all
and-
right.
No, I meant sorry. My notes and my outline is what I actually meant.
Yeah, of
Let me
course.
see here. Um,
I love it when Brian goes to the notes. He
Oh.
he always finds something real interesting.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
I just got to make sure I came
This is a
prepared to
classic.
discuss with Jenkins all the things that he talks about.
Yes. Yeah, of course.
So,
You've
you
done your
know,
research.
I do think we have the obligatory like 3-minute segment of the podcast that has to talk about Dota because
Okay.
we are 3 Dota players. So I'll just ask you, if your teammate picks X hero and it's not Pudge or Techies, what is the most like it gives you the most anxiety / like I don't want to play with this guy on my team this game? Like, what's your worst experience in your game so far?
Oh man, I feel like, dude, it's like anti-mage or Slark. It's like one of these. Whenever those heroes are not good, and you see somebody pick them, and you know that like they need to be an expert at it, but they aren't. But they're like bronze tier, and you just know that the game's gonna be insanely fucking hard because that guy's never gonna carry you. That gives me anxiety.
Okay.
Haven't you been spamming offlane anti-mage?
Okay, well that's different because you're off lane and it's about space creation. You're a tank. It's totally different. I mean, when you have a carry and they're expected to win the game and they're bronze tier, and you know that they're not going to. That gives me anxiety.
Is there anything on your team that gives you anxiety, monkeys?
Anxiety? That's
Or like
not
you're just
Techies
not
and
looking
Pudge.
forward to the game that you're about to play, you know, like because your
I
teammate
not
picked that.
I feel like typically not on my team, but like sometimes I see certain heroes on the enemy team that are like hard to catch or something, and I'm just like, this is just gonna be an annoying game. Like this is just gonna be shit.
Like a puck,
Yeah,
with no
like a really
disable.
like a free puck game or a free Ember game or something. And you just look at it and you're just like, if this guy plays
Oh no,
remotely
yeah,
acceptable, you're in for a bad time.
yeah. You have to like rush a sheep stick.
Yeah,
Orchid's not good enough because by the time you get it, he'll have a Yules, so you
yeah, or
actually need a sheep.
Manta or whatever.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Yeah.
I
That does
asked you
suck.
guys about specific heroes, but I gotta say the real barn burner for me, it really grinds my gears, okay?
Yeah,
Is when
burns a
my
barn with a bunch of animals in there.
my off lane and mid are 2 ranged heroes with no stuns.
Yeah, it's
It
definitely
actually
That's
hurts me
reasonable.
internally.
Yeah.
It hurts me internally every time. You know, you have like a Death Prophet off lane and like a Necro mid. Or it's
Well,
like
if
these heroes individually are strong heroes. I get it. But then the opponent, like you said, just picks like a Puck or an Ember, and that guy spends the entire game running at me because I have
Can
2 tanky with no stuns, and I don't want to with that guy.
Can I be honest with you here? I think to like. I think I'm actually a big reason in a lot of NA games. The one, there's not many games going on in NA, right? You
There
queue,
really
you
aren't,
probably
yeah.
you probably get the game, like the one game that's being played. I'm a lot of the time the reason that there aren't any stuns, if I'm being honest, because it's like I just get this ADHD brain, and I seriously don't know how to fix it. Like I was talking to Purge when I was last DPC, and he was like, dude, he genuinely thought that I was medicating with Red Bull. He was like, dude, you're medicating ADHD with Red Bull or something. Like I used to do that. It's like, I didn't know that was a thing. But I have this like ADHD brain where like I can't be Night Stalker every game in a row. I can't do it. I can't be Sand King. I get so bored, and then I don't even play that hero well when I play it because I know in my mind I just don't want to play it. It's like, so I will get queue into a game. That probably means I just shouldn't queue, but I'll queue into a game and I'll be like, okay, what do I want to play? Not that guy, not that guy, not that guy. I just feel like playing a ranged guy, and I'd rather take the hit of the game being really hard and play something that I want to, that's fun, and I know it pisses people off, but I don't realize until I get to the pick screen that this is a problem for me. You know what I mean? It's like on Arkosh when Gremlo wants offlane Coddle and says shit like that. It's like, it's the stupidity in the brain. It's not rationality or reason.
Stupidity.
It's just it's the idiotic idiot up there saying, "Hey, dude, be Coddle. That'll be a good time." All of a sudden, you're Aghanim Scepter. They have 3 BKBs. It's useless. Like, But I actually don't know what to
mean,
do in that scenario.
I wonder if maybe Grimlow shouldn't have bought an eggs. That would
This is
have
just
been
so
an
oddly specific.
that would have been an interesting solution.
Yeah, well, it's very specific. But what do you do? What do you do? What do you do when you're just bored of the heroes that are good? What do? You want to play the game. You want to play Dota.
I make other heroes good and win with them.
Okay, well, yeah, you're a good player, dude. That's that's you, man. I'm a idiot. I'm playing offlane anti-mage out here, bro. I don't know what to tell you. I'm not monkeys forever, man.
It is. I will say it's pretty hard to go against the meta flow. Like with whatever role you're playing, it's like if you just pick a carry that's like subpar, I just feel like every game's hard for no reason. Like that's what I like. If I try to play Slark this patch, there was one game I picked it, and it was against like it was like the most free game of Slark of all time, and it was still hard. And I was just like, that's not like enjoyable to have a hard game. Like
yeah, it's like you get to do something new and unique and interesting, but you have these weights on. Like it's just so hard. That's why I said Slark is that hero for me that gives me anxiety, because that's how he's been for like months now. Is that hero that like you have to be a god with it in order to make it work, and then even then you're just making it acceptable. It's just the level of a normal broken carry. You know, that's how Pudge has been too, dude. That's how Pudge has been as well. It's like if you're 14-0 on Pudge, you get to have the impact of a regular hero that's just B tier with no kills. If you're 14-0, the amount of Pudge games that I've lost where I've had like literally 20 flesh heap stacks by like 20 minutes, it happens all the time because that just puts him up to a regular strength gain.
Oh, he has really high strength gain, doesn't he?
No.
But I mean, typically in those games, I feel like you should win because Pudge is just like conceptually broken. You hook someone out, you kill him.
God.
What?
Okay.
What?
This is Pudge. This is Pudge player copium right here. That's what that is.
How? You have one stun on your team, and it's just easy hooks as long as you or like an Atos or something. I don't know. Or they have to pop BKB every time they get Atos. That's not a good feeling.
I feel like if you're popping off on Pudge and they just go on you, you always die. There's no amount of items. There's no amount of items you can get where you're like that unkillable state. Where I feel like if I don't know, let's say like a Timber Saw, Necrophos, Death Prop, most offlaners, Mars, you get an armlet, like you get these items and it legit feels like you're past this threshold where like you can't die. Like the enemies would have to put every single one of their abilities on you. Wait for the cooldowns, put every one of the abilities on you, and then kill you.
Yeah,
it's like that doesn't feel like you get to that point.
Yeah, it feels like you finally get to that point when you have Hood Halberd on Death Prophet.
I knew there's going to be an insult coming. I knew that as soon as I could see it in his eyes. Oh my God, the smirk.
You saw the death. You saw the death.
Listen. Somebody said. You told me. I saw the predator eyes. I did. You told me you need a BKB. I said, I don't think I need it. The very next fight, they all go on me. I siphon 4 of them. Everybody's like, Jenkins is dead. And Monkeys is like, because I don't communicate. Monkeys is like, I don't think he's dead. I wasn't dead. I didn't fucking die because of the status resistance. All I needed was a status resistance, magic resist talent. Easy. I was alive. No problem. Then I got the BKB. So relax, dude. I knew the timing, man. I knew the thresholds, dude.
Yeah, I do remember when Monkey also called out that your BKB was flying out on the courier for you.
He did call that out
because you were incapable of doing that.
Yeah, do you guys have like secret access to these comms? How do you know this?
We've just been watching the Arkosh YouTube comms videos.
The YouTube
where would people ever find the Arkosh YouTube videos?
That would be youtube.com/Arkosh Gaming.
Okay.
Go and subscribe to that YouTube channel tonight. There will be a coming video. This is probably the greatest video in Dota history. As long as we get permission from the 2 people that might not want it to be posted. To post it.
Any teasers for the people in the audience?
Yeah, there was a game too where one gentleman actually walked off and refused to play and had to be convinced by another young gentleman, a dapper young gentleman, to come back and play muted.
That's so strange.
And then he played an entire game without saying a word.
Wait,
It's
and then
really
Arkosh
good.
won after that?
They won. They won.
Wow.
Oh my God.
Wow.
Yes.
That's
Wow,
crazy.
that is a crazy storyline.
Yeah, no, it really happened. It really
Yeah.
happened. Against Alien Mana Banana.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is.
So
I just can't
impressive.
imagine
Good
who
content.
could be on such a thin rope that they would possibly walk out on their team after game 2 like that.
yeah. Thin
The
you could call
world
it a
will-
noose, maybe, like of a
The world
it's
will
a
have
rope.
to find out when the video comes out.
The world will have to find out.
They'll
Yeah.
have to find out at youtube.com/Arkosh
Gaming 69. Yep. Oh, and no 69 on that one actually.
Oh, good,
Yeah,
good save, Jenkins. Good
Yeah.
save.
Jenkins
Yeah,
just
thank you.
automatically defaults to 69 being at the end of all of his usernames, so he assumes it's at the end of that one too, guys. Just
Let me
for
show
context.
you something. Let me show you something.
Somebody in chat says this is a really subtle conversation. There's no way any of us could possibly guess what might have happened. Looking forward to the video.
Oh, look at you!
Holy shit!
It is Jenkins.
Jenkins 69.
This arrived in the mail at my dad's house, and he's like, "Son, why would you put 69 at the end of your name? You've besmirched the Jenkins name." Dude, it takes him so long to send this to you. Did you get yours, Brian?
No, I haven't gotten mine yet.
Dude, it takes them like so long, bro.
Yeah, I was gonna say if you just got yours, mine's probably months away because you probably hit it months before I did.
Yeah, I have a second channel that almost has 100K, and they just sent me this one. It's like, bro, I was so excited about this like 2 years ago, and now it's like, yeah, you know, once you're 100K Nelly, you're just like, yeah, I'm 100K Nelly, you know, you get used to it.
Why are you saying
Wow.
it as a Nelly?
I don't know. I heard streaming guys saying stuff like that, so it's like a Zoomer thing.
Yeah, Brian, a Zoomer thing. You wouldn't understand.
You wouldn't understand, Brian.
I
I'm
see.
hip with the
Yeah,
Zoomers.
I'm about to be 30 years old, so I understand.
Yeah, I'm
I don't
going on
understand, I
29
mean.
this-
What have
don't
you-
understand.
What
I'm
have you
going on 29
learned?
this year.
What have you guys learned in your 20s? What is your life lesson in your 20s for the, let's say for the 21-year-olds out there? Give them a decade of knowledge.
You first, monkeys.
100K Andy, that's it. That's the right word. I don't know why I said Nelly.
I don't know. I don't have a decade of knowledge. I have a decade of Dota knowledge. I don't have life knowledge.
I have one.
I mean,
Don't give a
all right, sure. That's a good one.
That's the one.
To expand upon what Jenkins said, the only person that cares about what you do is you. So if you're not doing something because you're worried about what other people are gonna think about it, they really don't care. I think is what Jenkins
That's
is trying
very
to say.
true.
Yeah.
My best advice, or what I've learned, is to use your muscles. Because there was like a 3 or 4 year period where I just straight up didn't do any activity at all. And in that time, I had horrible back pains. I had like horrible.
I had that too.
I had horrible like everything. Like everything in my body just hurt. My hips were terrible. My back
Pain.
like biggest muscle I have. Yeah, it's definitely
For me, it's the
definitely
balls.
like that's where the pee is stored. You can't have muscle there. So
You have to give them a squeeze every now and then. Yep.
True. So in all seriousness, though, just like do something, walks, like some sport activity. Just do something with your body. Otherwise, you'll think you're aging. And I realized I felt older at like age 26 than I do at age 29 because I wasn't doing anything.
That's
Yeah,
true. I thought
that's another good one because I mean, I definitely, you know, as I've told you many times, Ryan, I did nothing for like 2 years, and now I'm like starting to get back in shape, and oh my god, I feel so much better. It's like it's important.
becomes an addiction, man.
It kind of
It's an
does.
addiction.
Honestly.
I actually have a theory I want to run by you guys. Maybe it's not a theory, but it's something that I noticed. Whenever like I'll say something about the gym on like a YouTube video, or sometimes even on Twitch, there will be people in the chat that are like, Jenkins doesn't go to the gym. Like there's always this like huge like question mark from people because like obviously I'm a disgusting degenerate. Like I drink, I drank so many of these per day that I literally gained, like I have migraines now. Like I'm a migraine person. But I think there's this problem out there where people feel like the gym is still something for bros. Like, which I think was true. I think was true back in the day, like maybe 10 years ago or something. But I feel like the gym is filled with a lot of normal people now. Like when I go to the gym, like number one, if you look at Planet Fitness stocks, like they've been popping off, right? Like people are not going to these like expert gyms where people are pumping iron like, 200 kilograms and shit. Like normal people are going to normal gyms. They're very not scary. But I still think there's this large group of people out there that has this mentality that the gym is just bros there. But when I go to the gym, well, I go at 3 a.m., so that probably doesn't help. But it's just degens. It's like gamers. There's sometimes the morning people. It's like elderly. Like I go, there's like a 78-year-old guy that goes to the gym. There's one guy that was like used to be a heroin addict, and he was like 300 pounds, and now he's like he's got all this loose skin, but he's jacked, like just the most like inspiring guy ever. Like you have a bunch of people that are not gym bros at the gym, but I still think there's this idea that the gym is just for gym bros. Do you guys find that?
Did you listen to the last 4 minutes of what he said there?
Oh,
I haven't heard.
Every fucking time. Every time. Sick of this shit.
I haven't personally noticed that, Jenkins, but I don't know.
No, I know what Jenkins is saying. I feel like there was a time in like the 2000s where
I didn't even go to the gym back then.
No, I'm saying no. It's like I'm talking about something else where like it wasn't cool to like be good at school. Like where like being a nerd was like a bad thing.
Yeah,
and then, like 10 years.
Yes, it
and then
was.
like 10 years later, it's like it's all mutually agreed upon that if someone calls you a nerd, it's actually like endearing.
It's cool. Yeah,
to
it's
some
cool.
extent. Right?
People want to be a nerd.
Yeah, so it's I don't see calling somebody a nerd as like an insult anymore. And I would also say like there was definitely some similar vibe with like going to the gym. I think the reason why I say it's similar vibe is like they're both like life tryharding. Do you know what I mean? Like one of them's school or like your mind, the other one is more of your body. But like I've learned that people go to the gym, they're just people that want to take care of themselves. That's really like all I've really learned.
It is. Yeah, it is.
There's a lot of people that don't want to talk to anyone and just do their gym workout and get out of there. Like I don't think I've like ever talked to anyone that doesn't work at my gym. Like when I'm there, I literally show up with my headphones in. I take one out to say hi to whoever's at the desk usually, put it in, do my workout, and I leave and say bye. And that's all of my interaction at the gym.
Here's a question. Do you guys ever think like, is it that like nerd being cool or uncool, or going to the gym being cool or uncool, or whatever, like the vibes associated with these things, like are these changing because they're actually changing with the times in society, or are they changing because we're all late 20s now, so we view it differently? Like, is it us viewing, like, do high school students these days still make fun of each other, calling each other nerds?
Probably.
I don't know. I don't know any young people. I don't know, dude. I don't got nieces or nephews.
I mean, they probably make fun of each other just using different lingo, right? That's just how like language evolves. Like they just say like their Zoomer shit, and they're like, you're. I mean, I am not even gonna pretend to make up a Zoomer phrase because I don't.
That's Liddy, bro. That's Liddy.
I do not interact with actual Zoomers.
Bless.
Somebody says they don't. The high school minds have also changed, but I think this is like a valid possibility, Jenkins. I never really thought about it. It's very philosophical of you.
I remember like for me where that changed was like it was actually like a very quick change. It wasn't like a short, over a long period of time. When I went to university, I went to like a math university, and immediately upon getting there, I realized that like the smart kids, the like they were. That was cool there because it was just assumed that if you're smart, it was like a university where they do like co-op in the summers. It's like one of the only Canadian universities that has like you're required to do like work during the summers. And so like if you were smart and got good grades, you get the good jobs and you'd come back and you'd be loaded after the summer. You'd have like a nice car or something like that. So it's like, I don't know. It was immediately obvious to me that like all the stuff that I had thought during high school that was cool, like partying and I don't know, that sort of shit, was not. I mean, that was still all right, but it was not as cool as being the guy that gets the good grades and then goes and gets a job and comes back with a fucking Lambo. You know what I mean? Because the high school that I went to was like, it was a hillbilly high school. Like we had a tech class, and what the tech actually was wood tech. They were making birdhouses and shit. And it's like, don't get me wrong, that's cool. That, you know, carpentry is cool. We're always going to need carpenters. But when I hear the word tech, I'm not thinking of birdhouses. I'm thinking of computers, you know? That's how hillbilly my school was. It was like, it was cool to like ride around in four-wheelers. And if you liked video games, like people didn't even have fucking internet, you know? You guys are building birdhouses all day. It was like a huge, quick change for me.
I literally don't know what I would do without the internet. I've like I have been like glued to the internet for the last 20 years of my life.
I feel that. I feel that. Yeah, I like I always have these like thoughts, these like fantasies of like, oh man, like just living in the woods, you know, nobody out there to bother you. Some castle, yeah, something like that. But then I think like, oh my God, there would not be fiber out there. That would suck. What would you do with all your time? What would you do with all your time?
I mean, I guess like walk around your castle, right? Like explore
every day. Every day. I
mean, see what's new in each part of your castle. Like I don't know.
You could climb it. I can't even do a pull up, dude. I could climb it, bro.
You guys can explore your castle. I'll just walk around in Elden Ring and explore those castles.
Exactly. You could go in the VR world too if you
I feel like everything's just better on the internet is basically what I'm trying to say. Like I agree with you. Like if you think of like some life adventure, the only things I can like enjoy in life outside of the internet that like doesn't make me like wish I was on the internet is when I like go to like beaches or like something ocean related or something like high in the mountains, like just some destination where it's like you can't experience the feeling. The feeling that you get when you're experiencing
and like
it.
you're actually breathing in fresh air and like
dude,
something like that.
It's been so long since I've actually been to like a location like that. I swear to God, it's been like 2 years. I mean, I guess that's COVID. I guess that's just how.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, even when like I don't know, when I've traveled for like Dota events, sometimes I've just like gone like, you know, done something random in a different country and been like, oh yeah, that's just like a kind of cool experience, you know? Like in Disneyland Paris, they got us tickets to a light show. In Disneyland, and you know, I got to do that, and that was an absolutely wild.
To be fair, that was probably the coolest major ever.
Yeah,
it was in Disneyland. I mean, that's
I know.
Like that's
I was
pretty
happy
insane.
to go to that one.
That's pretty insane.
Yeah.
You know.
I just like you think of the major. I think of like skiing here because like I just skied for like the first time in like 5 years probably.
Dude, and I want to snowboard again so bad.
Dude, you should. So all that really happened was like I've kind of like slowly been integrated into Collie's New York group of friends, and we like Collie and I were talking about going skiing, and then two of her like a couple that we're close friends with, they were also going skiing. And they were like, yeah, we're going on like the 14th of February to Colorado. You want to join us? We're like, fuck yeah. Because the thing about I've learned about trips now is that hotels and shit are so expensive. Everything is so expensive. So you just go with like 6 people and you just like share an Airbnb or
something.
Dude,
I couldn't do that, bro. I couldn't do that. I got misophonia. No, I got misophonia. Google it. It's a problem. I cannot, if somebody's snoring, I can't sleep.
So phony.
Gives me insomnia, bro. If I hear any snoring,
it's called selective sound sensitivity syndrome. Is a condition in which certain sounds trigger an outburst marked by irritation, anger, or aggression. They react in extreme and often emotional ways to certain trigger sounds.
Okay, man.
Yeah. Wait. I think I've seen Gremlo buy back out of certain emotional responses before,
all right.
Actually.
This condition you have makes a lot of sense now that I am reading the definition.
I'm realizing that you Google things when you're an adult and you realize that there are things that you do that are not so normal. I also realized I have tactile defensiveness, which I didn't know was a thing. There are certain fabrics like I can't touch. Like like I legit, it's like torture to touch certain fabrics.
I have that with certain like the textures of certain foods. Like if I feel it in my mouth, it literally like it messes with me
You
so
might
much. That I'm just
you
like, I really don't like that.
Google tactile defensiveness, dude. I'm telling you, that's like fabrics and things in your mouth. Oh, okay. To fabrics and foods.
Google things in your mouth, guys.
No, don't Google that. That's
Things-
going to be very sexual.
Maybe,
That'll be
you could do
erotic.
like things I put in my mouth, stuff like that.
Yeah. That's not going to be good. Don't Google that. Don't Google that. But you realize you have these things that are wrong with you, and you're an adult, and you're like, oh shit, I've had this since I was a kid. I always hear like I hear something like I can hear music from miles away. I'll legit be like sitting on the computer playing Dota. I'm seriously, dude. Seriously, dude. And I'll be like, dude, do you hear that music? And she's like, no, I don't hear anything. And then we'll like go to the window, and in the distance you can hear like there's a club that's like playing loud music way out there. And she's like, how do you hear that shit? I'm like, because it pisses me off. I can hear it. It's giving me anxiety right now. Hearing certain noises gives me anxiety. I hate birds. Bird tweeting gets me. Like those motherfuckers. There was one bird, Frank, that sat on the side of my window and tweeted in towards the window. I swear to God, not even joking. And I had to go knock on the window to get him to fuck off and fly away. And this guy was sitting there tweeting into the window.
Did you retweet?
Brian, that was stupid. Can we cut that part, editor? Cut that out.
Cut that,
editor.
Please. Cut that.
Strider, that's his name. Come on, Strider, get it out of here. That was horrible. That bird was real. Ask my girlfriend next time we play. Ask her. It was loud, man. They're loud. I hate birds. Anyway, sorry. What are you gonna ask, Brian? You had some question?
I asked if you retweeted. I'm sorry.
Cut that again. Cut it again.
Cut it again. It never happened. It never happened. But no, I mean, what I actually totally forgot what I was gonna say. Now that you didn't, because you go on for like 3 minutes longer than I anticipated.
I know. Sorry about that.
Sorry. Get lost listening to
the original point that you made was that there were things you thought were like normal about people that you learn later is just you.
It's you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm sure you guys have some of those things.
Monkeys.
Wait, what do I have?
Things that are not normal about you that you didn't
like
realize
things you
were
thought
not
were
normal,
but like as you got older, you realized they weren't.
Do, but like, I
mean, I'm struggling to think of one that comes to mind, but I know I have.
Yeah. Get back to me in a year when I'm like after I've lived with my friend for a while, and he tells me all of the shit that I do that's not normal.
Sorry, my gambling guy was just messaging me there, so I had to...
Oh, nice. Are you gonna do another $4,000?
Well, we'll see. One of these messages is gonna be, "Hey, it's not you, it's me." I'm hoping not. All right,
Somebody
Brian.
asked, "Does this podcast have some Dota points?" This is a Dota player podcast, which very rarely talks about Dota. The thing is for people watching, like, what percentage of our lives do you guys think is Dota? Like Jenkins and Monkeys here, like,
oh my God,
it's what, like 60 to 70%. Like,
that's
what
like,
is it?
Yeah, I mean, does making a Dota custom game count? I mean, that would probably be considered Dota as well.
Oh,
right?
I actually had wanted to ask you about this. So before we transition topics, I will say that basically, our entire lives are engulfed in Dota, and I understand that you guys probably watch us to watch Dota, but this is Dota players bonding over things that are not Dota. So Jenkins, though, I did want to. This was on my outline.
Sometimes
Dota. Like
Dota.
Occasionally, a Dota story comes into it where Jenkins mentions, why he built Hood Halberd on Death Prophet, or sorry, why Grimlow did that and why he approved of the build. So, Jenkins is actually building a custom game. Have you like talked much about it on your stream? Do you talk about it a lot?
Not really. I mean, when we play it, we talk about the gameplay and stuff. But
well, I got to play it myself, and I'll say it was pretty fun. It's another auto battler. Do you don't like hold back things about it, right? None of this is like
No,
secretive?
no. I actually want you to play the next one, or this version of it, because I think we're at a version that like I'm happy to show people. It's like the UI is scuffed, but in terms of the gameplay, I actually think it's really fun right now. Like we added,
What'd you guys
we
change
added,
since I last played?
so balance. We balance a bunch of shit. That's always a thing. Is because like there are certain things in Dota that they're balanced because Dota's a very long game, a very strategic game. So like for example, with Crystal Maiden ult, you can just walk out of it. So it does a lot of damage. It does way more damage than if it were to stun, for example. Because in Dota, you just position differently, right? In our game, it's AI. So the first just run in and stand there in the CM ult. So it's actually like it was the best ability in the entire game. So we had to reduce the damage by like 50%, and it's still really good. Same with something like CM Aura. That's really good because that lasts the entire duration of the game in Dota. So it gives you a lot of mana over that whole period. But when your battles are like 30 seconds long, it's not actually that great of an ability anymore. So we had like there are numbers that we had to tweak, but then we added gods. So there's a shopkeeper god, for example, that makes it so that your shop has half as many spells in it, but they cost 2 gold each instead of 3 gold. And it's actually really fucking OP. It's really strong, but it totally changes the way that you play the game because you have less to choose from, but the spells are like a lot cheaper. So I know other auto battlers have that. They have these like, I think Atomic War calls them lords. I didn't realize how fun those were. Like these like conditions on the game. Basically, it's like here, play this game, except this like one fundamental condition has changed. Like there's another god that we have that every time the round is over, it randomly upgrades a spell that you have. So what I did is I only went 4 spells. I had 4 heroes that had literally nothing, and I just threw them in to tank. And I had 4 heroes that just upgraded all their spells, and it was sick. So you got to play it. It's like it feels really good right now.
I will say, I mean that actually sounds really fun, and that concept is in Hearthstone's auto battler. Like that's why I like Battlegrounds so much because it's literally the same game, but every hero you play has like some. Like when this happens, they get this benefit or whatever. And it's like everyone's drawing from the same pool of spells or minions or whatever. But if you like every game is just a slight tweak, that's what us Dota nerds like love. Like how can you min max on like this like one little parameter that you're adding to the game? So I'm happy to hear you guys did that. That sounds like fun.
I'm glad Suns fan he's really into auto battlers. He's like you. He loves these sorts of games. I was not super into them. Like so I really like the base game because it just feels like ability draft to me, except easier. It's like ability draft, except you're drafting for a whole team and then it's automatically doing it for you. So I like that. And I was like, dude, I don't know if we need to make it more complicated. Like if we add these gods, it might be too complicated for people. And he's like, no, trust me, it's not going to be complicated. We added them and they feel awesome.
How many do you have so far?
There's like we have like 10. We have like 10 so far. I think we're probably gonna launch with like 12.
Do you get to choose out of any of them, or do you like get a random choice of like 3?
You get a random choice of 3, and you can re-roll. You can re-roll them like once or something like that. So okay. Yeah, it's gonna be like a random choice. Basically, like every game, it's gonna be enforced that you're probably gonna play it pretty differently. Which I really like. That's what I like.
I mean that's just good gameplay. If every game starts like repeating itself and like I don't know, you get bored of games like that.
You risk it getting boring at that point. Yeah, exactly. So I think the way that we did it was, I mean, we'll see. I guess we'll see how it goes because these are just my feelings, and obviously people are watching from the stream and saying like, oh, this game looks fun, but they're my stream viewers, so they're probably going to be nice to me. Like you'd be a real, be like, oh, this game looks like, but it feels fun. It feels good. I'm excited to have people play it. Like I genuinely do think it's a fun game. The base game was really good, and then adding these gods added a layer to it that I think that I really enjoy.
I think what is going to be your guys' opportunity to set this apart, which you've already mentioned to me, and it's actually an interesting discussion just in regards to like video games in general. Like what a lot of popular games are doing is the fact that you've talked to me about how like you guys want to incorporate like streamer packs or some sort of like incentive for people to actually stream the game. Because at the end of the day, I think most games in the current age, if it's not getting streamed, it's not gonna live. Like the game will eventually just die off. It doesn't matter if it's a custom game, doesn't matter if it's an actual game. Like I firmly believe that like the streamer, I'm not trying to like give streamers like too much credit, but it's like if I'm streaming a game, at least 5 or 10% of my viewers are gonna give it a try. Like at least 5 to 10%, right?
It's just true though. It's like one of those things that you can't avoid. And I think there's been a lot of like game development companies that do it right, like Riot paying people to play like Valorant for the first time, and it's like popping off. Like all of these games that pay people to play, it's like it works, dude. It's been shown to work. But for me, what we're trying to do that I hope sets us apart is that we want to make it like a long-term thing where the streamers can make a lot more money than just like, oh, we'll give you $1,000 to play the game. Like we're trying to make it so that like, I mean, I guess it's like an affiliate thing, but it's like you have gamers that are used to like microtransactions, right? You have gamers that are used to like, you know, you go in, like you're already going to be able to play with all your regular sets in Dota. Like that was a really important thing for us because I hate the idea that you go to a custom game and you can't play with your Dota sets. I hate that idea because you're playing a game within a game. So like if you've spent money on Dota, I want that value to persist within our game because we're a Dota custom game. But then anyway, the microtransactions within our game is going to be like, you'll get a BSJ voice pack. So when you beat somebody, they have to hear BSJ saying, "You just got banana slammed." Like you have to hear that shit. And it's not just going to be something that's for you. It's going to be something that tilts your enemies. That's the idea behind it. But then anytime somebody buys that, BSJ is going to get like 50% of the profits or something like that. So it's like one of these things where it's like I want streamers to feel like if they play the game and they support the game, like long term, they're gonna make some money off of it, you know. And I don't see why not. Like I don't see how that's not good for us and for the streamers. I feel like maybe it's because I come from the perspective of a content creator / streamer, but it's like I'd be so much more willing to do something if I felt like my efforts towards like promoting that thing would be like directly impacting the money that I make off of it. Because like I want to go all in on something, you know. It's like that's fun for me. But if I'm just getting the same rate, it's like I'm not going to be so excited to do that unless the rate's like insanely good. Then it's like, well, yeah. But then it's like you want it to reflect effort, which I think for like gamers and Dota players, that makes sense. Like your MMR reflects your effort towards like queuing and stuff. Like you're used to seeing that return from like the effort that you put in. So I feel like that makes more sense than just like, hey, BSJ, here's $1,000, play my game. It's like, no, here's $1,000. And then also like you sell your voice, you record some voices for us. We'll make it into a pack. You sell it, or we'll sell it for you, and then we'll give you some profits.
Monkeys.
Sorry, I could go on. I'm sorry.
What do you want? How do you want me to respond to all of that, Brian? What do you want me to say?
You know, it's not that I wasn't listening to the last like 3 minutes, but I want to hear your thoughts on it.
I hate you guys.
What? I was listening, Jenkins.
I fucking hate
you know, you're talking about voice packs for streamers and
imagine a monkey's laugh. Imagine a monkey's laugh snickering at people when you're beating them.
Yeah, it's totally not like Valve hasn't put my laugh in Dota.
Those motherfuckers. My God. If you want to support Arkush Gaming, buy these 4 Zoomers fan pack. Well, technically, that only has 1 Arkush member on there now.
You know, somebody says to please let monkeys talk. I don't think they understand that whenever it's like me, Jenkins, and maybe a couple other individuals involved, this is pretty much Monkey's contribution to the conversation. And that is laughing nonstop while Jenkins says some random
shit. Jenkins just goes on
Go kill that guy! Go kill that guy! Get that guy! Jenkins, who are you talking about? That guy!
Except for the actual important things like, you know, getting a BKB or...
Okay, dude. All right. Are you serious? You two are allied this morning. What the man? You guys are never on the same side until today.
This morning.
Hey, don't pick up on that. Don't pick up on that.
It's talk about it. PM.
Point it out. That's ridiculous. That's ridiculous that he points that out. I fucked up and said that, and he points it out like I'm embarrassed now, Brian. What do you want me to say?
That this
Yeah, I
is
woke up at
literally
6
your
p.m.
morning. That's how it is. Morning is a relative. It's an abstract concept. Morning is when you've just woken up, and for 6 p.m. that's you. For you that's 6
Hey,
p.m.
if I get us a team house, you guys gonna move with me?
Yeah.
Probably not, because I'm literally contractually obligated to live in the Netherlands. So
For how long? When's that over?
a year and a half.
Okay.
I can come
you
visit
gonna-
though.
You can? All right, monkeys.
Yeah.
I'll get us a team house.
Don't worry, I don't have any obligations, Jenkins. I'll just move it. We have to move into a haunted house though, like just
Oh yeah.
permanently live in a.
It has to be a haunted house with fiber.
Yeah.
I think there's a few of those. I think that
Yeah.
there's haunted houses in like cities, like old like cultist houses and stuff like that. That'd probably be the worst. Like one of these like demonic houses, like ghosts are one thing, but demons, they're something else, man. Like, because they can actually kill you.
Now,
They
this
get
is
you.
true, Jenkins, and you're helping me segue because we're talking about haunted house with ghosts, and you know what ghosts do? They'll often, vanish. As this episode is brought to you guys by IPVanish.com, or sorry, the VPN IPVanish. You can find IPVanish at IPVanish.com/BSJ, which you can get 70% off for the next yearly plan. And it's also a 30-day money-back guarantee. It gives all the services of a VPN, guys. So right now, you can actually use promo code BSJ for 70% off. So if you guys are looking for a VPN, it has all the reliable features of a VPN that you need. It's been given a brand rated 4.6 out of 5. And it's
Wow,
IPVanish
4.6
out of 5, Jenkins. Not out of 10,
That's
but
that's
out
wild.
of 5. So yes, guys, please, IPVanish.com/BSJ.
I want my security risks to vanish tonight
with your
by
IP
downloading
vanishing.
with my IP with IPVanish.com/BSJ.
Exactly. Thank you, Jenkins. That was perfectly executed.
IPVanish.com/Zodiac Killer's Son.
Also known as BSJ.
Also known as BSJ. He's doing the four Zoomers laugh.
That actually is the exact same laugh.
That's the one. Yeah,
there.
they're gonna steal that one for next season, bro.
I felt like I was gonna try to naturally fit that into our podcast at some point, and every time I thought about I was gonna say it after Jenkins, he just kept going for like another 2 or 3 minutes, so I forgot.
Okay, you invited me, dude.
No, that's what
I
the
didn't get up
guests are
early for this.
No, the guests are not to enhance the quality of the podcast. It's to lower the workload for Monkeys and I. Am I right, Monkeys?
Yeah, absolutely. I love it when our guests just talk nonstop. It's actually the best. Jenkins, you should just become a permanent member and literally just like go on tangents. Like,
I accept.
every week.
You can't take that back. I accept. I'm gonna be adding. I'll be adding Dota Capitalist also as a permanent member.
Maybe somebody like maybe Newsham, your bubby.
Or what about Sir Action Slacks? I know that's kind of out there.
Just
but...
that's fishing.
We could do a double bubby podcast if we had Newsham on here. Double bubby. Because you guys are bubbies and then we're bubbies.
Bubby double bubby.
For anybody, I'm just letting you know that until I actually got used to you using the term bubby, I thought that was like the cringiest. So I have to imagine the viewers at home who have not heard this talk of bubby before. They're probably thinking it's.
I love my bubby. I love my bubby.
Where did this start? Like, who started this? Was this you or Newsham that started the bubby shit?
I don't know, dude.
I feel like the best things we hardly remember where they actually originated.
No,
at all.
Yeah, you can't remember. It's like I always think it was him, and then he'll be like, "No, dude, that was you," and it's like, okay, well, I guess we'll just agree to disagree.
To be fair, I would probably trust Nushi's memory a bit more than yours, Jenkins.
I don't know, dude. There's sometimes he'll say things like, "Dude, remember when you did this?" And it's like, I do, but that was literally somebody else. Like, I'll remember the guy that did the thing, Usually it's talking about like the first team house that we did, the Leviathan team house, or the next one, the second one, and then there's the third one where I got kicked for monkeys. Those are dark. Actually, that was
That was right before we beat EG. Yeah, or right after.
Before,
right before we beat EG. Yeah, because we
before
had
you peaked, your absolute peak in life.
That's the one victory I can actually talk about in my competitive Dota career.
My favorite thing was when we had Crit on the podcast, Brian, and you were like, "What's one of the things that annoys you the most about streaming?" And he's like, "My viewers will not let me forget when you beat me on Team Leviathan."
They won't let him forget because I make sure I mention it at least once every 2 weeks or so people have this false impression that I had some semblance of a successful career.
You know what I do for that one? I say I beat Wings on LAN, and then they won TI.
Hell yeah,
it's true. It's true.
Did you?
Yes, yeah. At WCA, they beat us on the series, but we took a game off of Wings. We took a game off of Wings. I think they ended up getting like second place at WCA. To be fair, people were like sitting out in the cold. That was the tournament that S4 was like deathly ill and playing. Like people were getting ill because it was so cold there. It was freezing. It was like in the north of China, so it was freezing ass cold. Yeah, and
I beat Wings in a scrim, but never in an official.
All right, that's not bad. Did you copy paste the screenshot and save it somewhere?
No, I was no scrim leaker. I never took screenshots of scrim.
Good. I was trying to catch you. I was trying to see if you're a snitch.
No.
The only time I ever beat EG in a scrim was back when Lifestealer could infest Ancients at level 6.
I knew that was gonna be the strategy you were gonna bring up.
And it does the fucking rate. Like I remember that was the best patch because the Lifestealer Radiant shit was unironically so broken because Ancients were magic immune.
Yep, so you just ran around in a
You just ran around burning people.
That was so annoying. That was so awful.
Obnoxious. It would take, like, you couldn't do anything about the creep. You would just see a Radiance creep with, like, 2,200 HP and is literally immune to all magic. Always BKB'd. And it's just running at you with, like, 90 damage. And you're like, well, guess I'm just gonna run under my tier 2 tower and not do anything.
You could like tank the tier 2s as well at that point. Yeah. They were like half as strong. I remember like Lifestealer be cutting creeps at the tier 3, and you just like have to let them. You just let your towers die. It's like until you just wait. It's like wait till you have like 3 items, then we can like deal with this creep.
That was the original game mode of the content team trying to do the no kills thing. That was like the original test. You know, there's somebody on the enemy team you're just not allowed to kill. And they're just going to cut creep waves for the entire game.
But they've done a good job removing a lot of the bullshit from Dota like that.
Yeah, well, I'm kind of sad about it, though. Like, I don't know. The bullshit is what made Dota, you know? Like, I mean, like, I get why they had to do some of it, but, like, I don't know. Like, axe creep cutting waves and stuff like that. That was so fun. And, like, to me, it was fun because I would always get so farmed and then I would.
Same, I love that. I love that. That was good.
I did not like that.
2 stout shields, baby. You just take 0 damage from creeps. That was sick.
Yeah, or I mean, I'm sure you missed the PMS meta, Brian.
Oh, those were the days. Those were the days.
Poor Man Shield was a nice item until all the offlaners were buying it.
Yeah, until centaurs
that
are
was,
literally
yeah, I was gonna say
just Poor Man Shield and go.
They're literally Poor Man Shield and getting like they're just running at me, and I'm like, this is not. I literally take more damage hitting this guy because of return or like spin or some shit than I actually do to him. But surprisingly, and not surprisingly, I feel like when I talk to Jenkins more so than usual. It already happens with monkeys, but time flies by. It's been over an hour and 15 minutes already on the podcast, guys. That's like way longer than we normally go. That's a 75-minute podcast. Is. So, you know, Jenkins, we appreciate you coming on. You always spice up the room. Any last words for the fans out there?
No.
Okay. That being said, thanks for watching, guys. You can find us on Spotify, iTunes, all that kind of stuff. Remember to check out ipvanish.com/ what you called it?
Where did Jenkins go? He vanished.
That's the other. That would be the Zodiac Killer.
Killer's son, yes. ipvanish.com/ Ted Kaczynski. Thanks for watching, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed the podcast. See you guys later.
Bye, guys.